On our political ticker, after 2 terms in Gracie Mansion and a failed bid at the White House, there is now growing talk former New York mayor and presidential candidate Rudy Giuliani is eyeing New York's governor's mansion. CNN's Mary Snow is working that story for us. And, well, Mary, what are you hearing?
Well, Suzanne, you know, Rudy Giuliani in recent weeks has left the door open to a potential run for New York governor. And now at least one Republican in New York sees chances increasing that he'll actually do it. He's been out of the running since his bruising White House bid that failed in early 2008. But allies say Rudy Giuliani is seriously thinking about running for New York governor. Congressman Peter King says he discussed the possibility with Giuliani in recent weeks.
If you would ask me 2 months ago, I would say there was a less than 20% chance he's going to run. Now I say it's 60-40 that he will, maybe 2-1 that he will.
A spokesperson for Giuliani says he's on vacation and out of pocket. But here's what the former New York City mayor had to say in late July at a Crain's New York event when asked about the possibility.
I got elected mayor, I believe, on the theory of it can't get worse. So if it gets to that point, maybe I'll decide to run. We'll see.
Republicans say a backlash against state Democrats is among the considerations. A coup in the democratically controlled state Senate deadlocked Albany for a month.
It was the failure of leadership in Albany. And that is what is motivating him right now.
Democratic Governor David Paterson's popularity has soured, but he says he plans to run next year. And Democratic strategist Hank Sheinkopf says Democrats are feeling uneasy.
Does Rudy Giuliani have a shot against David Paterson? Absolutely. And could the Democrats lose everything? You bet.
Sheinkopf says recent comments by Paterson didn't help. The governor made headlines by mentioning race when discussing criticism of him and President Obama. The White House distanced itself from Paterson's remarks. Paterson now says he was misunderstood. But before the governor sets his sights on a potential Giuliani candidacy, he's got to look over his shoulder to see if the state's Attorney General, Andrew Cuomo, a fellow Democrat, decides to challenge Paterson in a primary. And in a hypothetical matchup between Giuliani and Andrew Cuomo, polls show Giuliani would have a tougher challenge. Now, as for a decision from Giuliani, Republicans we spoke with today say they don't expect that to happen until November at the earliest. Suzanne?
All eyes will be on that decision. Thank you so much, Mary. And remember, for the latest political news anytime, check out CNNPolitics.com.
Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani is telling friends and political advisors that the total dysfunction of state government is increasing his desire to run for governor in next year.
Rudy sees New York State in 2009 and 2010 as what New York City was in 1992 and 1993. All the critics and all the experts saying the government's out of control, no one can make it run, no one can make it work.
According to Congressman Peter King, Giuliani made the city work as mayor and wants to do the same thing as governor. He says Giuliani told him if he decides to run in 2010, it won't matter who the Democratic candidate is. He's expected to make his decision after the November election.
You're watching the PIX News at 10.
Welcome back. The race for governor is still more than a year away, but of course there's already speculation about who's going to run. Will Governor David Paterson throw his hat into the ring? And how about former Mayor Rudy Giuliani? There are rumblings about him. Marvin Scott has his ear to the ground. He's here with us with more on this. Marvin.
I'm listening, Leslie.
Yes, I know you are.
Well, from all appearances, Rudy Giuliani certainly is testing the political waters. He's meeting with Republican leaders throughout the state. All this happening in recent months. One insider told me there's no question about it. The former mayor would like to be governor, but whether he will run for that office, that's still uncertain. Since losing his bid for the presidency last year, Giuliani has been devoting time to his lucrative consulting business, but all the while toying with the idea of getting back into the political arena and running for governor. With Governor Paterson's favorable ratings dropping as low as 18%, analysts say Giuliani would win handedly, even in a state where Democrats outnumber Republicans. But up against popular Attorney General Andrew Cuomo, Giuliani could have a tough time. But that doesn't seem to be deterring him. Congressman Peter King discussed the possibility of Giuliani's candidacy during a breakfast meeting with the former mayor a few weeks ago.
I am now inclined to think he is going to run.
Giuliani's influence is being felt within the state Republican Party, as evidenced by his successful urging that state chairman Joseph Mondello not seek another term. Publicly, Giuliani remains as non-committal to running as he did when he appeared with me on PIX News Close-Up a few months ago.
Don't know. got to see what things are like later this year, what options there are. Do I have a chance?
Congressman King says he believes Giuliani is now a lot more focused.
He went through step by step with me how he thought he could win, why he thought he should run. Said he still hadn't made up his mind, but he had obviously given it a lot of thought, was taking it very seriously.
Political strategist Hank Scheinkopf feels Giuliani could have a tough go at it if he runs.
Could Rudy Giuliani win is the question. Anything's possible, but not against Andrew Cuomo, certainly if he's the nominee. Andrew will beat him badly. Andrew Cuomo's the most popular Democrat in New York State. The issue is, against David Patterson, well, even in a state with a 2 million-plus registration edge, for Democrats, anything is possible.
Sources close to Giuliani tell me his consideration to run is being fueled by a desire to fix a dysfunctional state government. He believes he can turn around the state government in the same way he did New York City at a time many considered it could not be governed. If Giuliani decides to run, he may make that announcement between Thanksgiving and Christmas. That is if he decides not to run, but if he decides to go for it, that announcement probably won't come until early next year. So, folks, stay tuned.
You know, Marvin, your political coverage is the best in the state. Your contacts, they run deep. It's not just because I know him, folks. What is your gut instinct? What do you think he's going to do, Rudy?
That is an interesting question. I think in the end it depends on whether David Patterson is the candidate. If he is and Rudy is the Republican, Rudy wins. That's my gut feeling. If it's Andrew Cuomo, it's a very tight race. With the state being preponderantly Democratic, it goes more to Andrew Cuomo.
Marvin.